right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here at Free, and this is Noelle. She's the community director here at Free, and it's good to be with you all tonight. Hey, to give you the reminder, this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees, and what we do here is break the silence of addiction and create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there is always one thing we don't do, and y'all can shout out all four words on a count of three. 1, 2, 3.
We don't do shit!
Woo-wee!
Right side really carried it.
Front row's on it tonight.
Front row is not playing.
All right, Noelle, tell them some other things we do.
Absolutely. If tonight is your first night here, welcome. We are so grateful you're here with us. There are welcome bags right outside this door here. They're white bags with Free's black stamp on the front. Has a little bit about what we do here at Free. Has some fresh roasted wagon coffee. Has some information about wagon coffee in it. And just some other free swag items. So please grab one on your way out and just know that we are so grateful you're here with us tonight. We are having our next sober open mic night Thursday, September 14th.
Woo-woo.
And you all know, yeah, it's a great time, that we team up with the Phoenix on this, and it's an every other month event. So it'll be in this room, Thursday, September 14th, from 7 to 9. So we're calling all poets, songwriters, comedians. We've had jugglers. We've had gymnastics.
Circus monkeys.
Absolutely. There's been monkeys?
No.
Oh, dang.
Come on now.
Dang it. But registration opens this week, and y'all, if you're looking to participate in this, it always fills up so quick. So we only take about 12 registrants, so please do so ASAP. And so our sponsors for this are Sparrow Recovery and CARE, Colorado Artists in Recovery, so we're super grateful for them. 7 to 9 in this room, but the cafe will be open, so grab your coffee and come attend a open mic night.
Yeah, come support people who, many of them are new in sobriety. They're
really
getting
new in
up
sobriety.
And being brave. And
so it's their first showcase of kind of breaking, outside of their norm, and it's really a good time. So
and we get to cheer them on.
Absolutely. Grab a cup of coffee and come sit on this 14th and support them.
All right, thank you, Noelle. All right, y'all, the way we get started here on Saturday night is with celebrations. We lift up the good. We start with the good. We don't ignore the hard stuff. We just save it for the end. But we start with the good. We remember the good. So whatever the new thing is you want to celebrate, this is a very important part of our service together, our time together. Maybe you have like a sobriety anniversary, or birthday, or a new home, new job, new kids, new babies. Y'all know what I mean. Whatever the new thing is, we want to celebrate it. We believe that God joins with us in the celebrations. We take 3 minutes for this. Listen, if you're online, just drop your celebrations in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, and we will celebrate with you there because you are part of this community, and we're glad you're here too. So let's take 3 minutes. Do we have mics? You got one. Mickey and Scott will pass around a mic. Just slip your hand up in the air and give us the celebration. Let's take 3.
Hi, my name is Braylee. My sister Cora, she started walking this week in her walker.
In a walker, yes. We're still proud of her, though. We'll celebrate that. New steps in life.
I'm Kai, and I have 62 days clean off fentanyl.
162 days clean of fentanyl. Kai.
Good evening, family. Monty C. August 13th, I hit 5 years.
Way to go, Monty. 5 years.
I'm Dan, and our son Austin chose to go into recovery here on Thursday. On his way to Free to help out at the Free Cafe, but he chose to go into recovery instead, which is really a blessing. So,
we're proud of Austin. We're going to celebrate it. Way to go, buddy.
My name's Matthew, and as of yesterday, I celebrated 90 days clean and sober.
Way to go, Matthew. 90 days.
Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Kayla, and my friend John here just celebrated 90 days yesterday.
All right, the 90-day club.
My name is Matthew, and I got 156 days sober from fentanyl.
Way to go, Matthew. Glad you're here, dude. 156 days.
My name's Kevin. I got 74 days sober, and I start a new job on September 1st.
All right, way to go, buddy.
My name is Chris, and I have 17 days clean off of meth, and I just got an opportunity to go into sober living.
All right, congratulations, dude.
My name's Bree. I just moved back here from Nebraska to be in sober living, and I'm 35 days clean off fentanyl.
35 days clean off fentanyl. Way to go, Bree.
I'm Ron. I'm celebrating 18 months today.
That's right, Ron.
My name's Tom. I'm here with friends and family and my beautiful bride, Connie, the guest speaker for tonight.
Woo-hoo! Glad to have you here, Connie.
Hi, my name is Christine, and next week my husband here, Gerald, will have 6 years sober from alcohol.
Way to go, Gerald. Glad y'all are here. All right, thank you, Mickey and Scott. Scott, if you could give that mic to my beautiful bride, Tammy Kennedy. She's going to join me up here. And we're going to celebrate with the online people. Thank you, Mickey.
I didn't know we were doing this tonight.
You didn't know we were doing this? Oh, yeah, we're doing it. We're
good.
really doing it.
Hi, guys.
Just because we didn't do it last week doesn't mean we don't do it this week.
You know, there's a lot going on tonight.
There's a lot going on tonight. It's a full night. I'll say more about it in a minute. Let's celebrate with our online people, shall we?
You want to go first?
I'll go first. T. Mrs. B. Super excited to celebrate 14 months clean and sober yesterday and a job interview on Monday, full of gratitude for the gifts of sobriety. Way to go, T. Mrs. B.
And Jen says, celebrating working together with a sister rescue to come together with ways to help a dog owner keep his family pet rather than surrendering him to a shelter. It was great. It was a great day. God is so good.
Way to
That's
go,
good
Jen.
stuff, Jen.
Celebrate that. Rick says 68 days sober
Rick.
today.
Nice.
Way to go, Rick. Proud of you, dude.
And James says 131 days clean. Love you free. We love you back,
I
James.
love you too, brother. Glad. Congratulations. And that was our last one. Thank you for joining me up here, Tammy. All right, y'all. Man, we're in this 2-week series. This is the second of the 2-week called F-Fentanyl. Man, who was here last week? Man, that was powerful, wasn't it? The panel discussion was just fire. So this week, we're going to bring it down a little bit. This is like an evening of reflection. We're going to have some guest storytellers in the house, and we'll get that in a moment. But first, take a look at the video.
Painkiller fentanyl is now the #1 killer drug in the U.S.
You can die just by touching it.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
A fatal dose of fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
The potent opioid that's supposed to tranquilize elephants.
A synthetic painkiller 100 times more powerful than morphine.
Just 2 milligrams of the pure drug, which is about 4 grains of salt, is enough to kill the average adult.
Prince died from a lethal amount of the painkiller fentanyl.
A 10-year-old boy in Florida has become one of the youngest.
Overall, more than 63,000 people died of
Monster drug kills far more people than gun violence.
And if you don't know what fentanyl is, it is basically the new heroin, but much, much stronger.
We haven't seen an epidemic like this in our lifetime. We're tired of the suffering. We're tired of the death. We're tired of the silence. We are breaking wide open this conversation on fentanyl, and we need you to be a part of it.
110,000 people died in the U.S. last year of an opioid overdose. In fact, someone in the U.S. dies every 5 minutes of a fentanyl overdose. Most of those 110,000 involved fentanyl, by the way. Fentanyl, if you're a bit fuzzy, fentanyl is highly addictive. It is 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. And for Americans between the age of 18 to 45, the leading cause of death is now fentanyl overdose. Y'all let that sink in for just a minute. It's why we're doing this series on fentanyl. Hannah's funeral was last summer. It was August 4th, 1 year ago this month. And Hannah, her funeral was at this beautiful place called Seven Stones Chatfield Cemetery, a beautiful setting, lots of beautiful landscape, open space, beautiful mountain backdrop. And the thing about her funeral was it was an open casket funeral. And to just be honest with y'all, I don't do many of those because they're not very common here. They're still common in the Midwest and down in the South, but not so much here in the West. And do y'all know, as I walked up to the front to take my place to begin offering words of comfort, I stood next to Hannah lying there in that casket. And the very first thing I noticed was she was still wearing her free bracelet. The one that says breaking the silence of addiction. The one that I and many of you still wear today. You see, Hannah was 25 years old, and she died of a fentanyl overdose. And I am reminded that sometimes, even in death, the silence of addiction is breaking. And I believe Hannah would hope this to be the case, even with her own death, because see, she was one of us here at Free. She was a member of this community. She battled this brutal disease of addiction. She knew the struggle. She was one of us. And her mom, Connie, is here with us tonight as our guest storyteller, and you'll hear more from her in just a few minutes. You know, I believe that God is always inviting us into the fullest kind of life, the most abundant kind of life. In fact, there's this place in John's gospel where Jesus was gathered with a crowd of people. And he's talking to them about sheep and what it means to be a good shepherd. And he drops this line on them where he says, "The thief enters only to steal, kill, and destroy. But I came so that they could have life, indeed, so they could live life to the fullest." And it's easy to read those words and hear those words and say, but wait a minute. What about the 110,000 people that died last year of an overdose? What about the one person that dies every 5 minutes of a fentanyl overdose? I mean, God, you said you came to bring life to the fullest, abundant life. Where is it? Where are you? Because the truth is, we know some thieves in this community, don't we? Addiction is a thief. It always comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And we've seen this new thief come into the scene called fentanyl. Always comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And do you know the tricky thing about addiction? Man, addiction, is it true? Always presents itself as a God. But man, this is a very different kind of God. This God always has the one addicted bowing down. I mean, this God has a way of getting you to come back for more. Talk about loyalty. And this is the worst kind of God, because this God will rob you of everything that matters in life. It will rob you of relationships, connection, joy, peace, health, a future. And this God always seeks to take life. And see, the other thing about this God is, man, this God is so greedy. I mean, it stops at nothing. It doesn't just go after the addict. It goes after the friends and family members, the loved ones, causing immense amounts of pain and sorrow and unimaginable long-term suffering. And the truth is, we've seen this God take far too many of our people way too soon. You know, every single week here when we gather on a Saturday night, we start with reminding each other that we don't do shame in this community. Why don't we do shame? Because shame doesn't work. Shame never produces the outcomes that you are hoping for. Shame never transforms the heart. And if you've battled addiction or you're the loved one of someone battling addiction, chances are you have dealt with enough shame. You know what it feels like. You don't need more of that. It doesn't work. God doesn't do shame. In fact, God only loves unconditionally, no matter your past or your present, no matter how lost you are currently, God still loves you. In fact, there's another place in the Gospels, this time it's Luke's Gospel, where Jesus is again gathered with crowds of people because apparently Jesus likes to be with people. And the religious leaders are standing in the midst of this crowd, and the religious leaders, they start to accuse him. They start saying to one another, they say, man, can you believe it? This guy, he only hangs out with sinners. You know, people that aren't like us, fine, upstanding, religious folk. He hangs out with sinners, and can you believe it? He even tells them that God loves them. And can you believe it? Jesus, he has the audacity to sit with them at a table and share a meal with them. Oh my goodness. And Jesus looks at the religious leaders and he launches into this parable. He says, suppose one of you has 100 sheep and you lose one of them. Wouldn't you drop everything to go find that one? In fact, he says it this way. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, don't miss this part, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Now, keep in mind, parables are just short stories that Jesus would tell, and they always pointed to who God is. So this image is giving us a picture of who God is. And I hope you don't see this image and say, well, God doesn't care about those other 99 sheep. No. This image says God cares a great deal about God's lost sheep. God cares a great deal about the one. And who among us in this room or watching online hasn't been the one? Wandered off, got lost in the fields of addiction, desperately needing to be picked up and carried home. And did y'all notice that word? He finds the sheep, and what's he do? Joyfully picks it up. That means not reluctantly, not resentfully, not you stupid idiot, I got to come out here again and get you and bring you home. Joyfully picks it up and puts it on his shoulders and carries it home. My brothers and sisters, God cares about God's lost sheep, and apparently God takes great delight in coming to you and picking you up when you have nothing left and carrying you home. You know, some of you know that Nick was my first overdose funeral. It was back in June of 2018, the very same month that we launched Free in our backyard. Nick was a buddy of mine. I was walking with him through the 12 steps. He was battling to get clean and sober. And Nick died of an opioid overdose. And do you know, after his funeral, I received some messages from the people that loved him. And they were asking me about Nick's standing with God. Where's Nick now? And they would say things like, hey, we know that Nick made some poor choices in his life, but do you think God is punishing him now in his death? And I always reminded his loved ones that we could put those concerns to rest, because the drugs and the God of addiction did a fine enough job in punishing Nick. See, we have to remember, God doesn't punish the lost sheep. God goes after the lost sheep. Why? Because God is love, period. There is no and after that. There's no comma. There's no but. God is love, period. And for every addict who has taken their last breath due to a drug overdose, I have no doubt that God was joyfully carrying them across the threshold, whispering to them, we're home. We're home. You see, perhaps the better question isn't where is God, but how are we being the people of God? Because see, when we can engage that question, then we can better point to where God is. Do you know every single Saturday night when we gather here and we begin with celebrations and we celebrate together, and one of you brave souls takes the mic and says, I'm 1 day clean and sober, or I'm 30 days clean, or 90 days sober, or 1 year clean and sober, it's like, oh my goodness. And Ryan, you forgot where I was? Oh my goodness. Look out. God, where's that abundant life? Where are you, God? There's God. There's God right there. Because God is everywhere. And do you know, every single Saturday night when we end with heartaches, and one of you brave souls grabs the mic, and you say, man, I'm battling. I've fallen off the wagon. Man, I'm in battle and I'm in desperate need of being picked up and carried home. You may not say those words, but you say those words. Or you say, my loved one, man, they're in battle. They're in desperate need of being picked up and carried home. And then I watch this community surround you, sometimes even carrying you. God, where are you? There I am. Right there. There's God. And you know, last Saturday, I overheard my brother Adam here. He was in like full evangelism mode. Yeah, Adam with the face tattoos. Sober souls Adam. Sometimes drops F-bombs Adam. Man, he was passionate last week. It was last Saturday in this hallway. I'm overhearing Adam tell somebody else the importance of them sharing their story up here on the stage. And he says, no, you don't understand. You have to share your story because it's how we get to know you here. And you have to share your story because it's how here at Free we show hope. It's how we show that recovery is indeed possible. I mean, Adam's getting passionate, and I'm standing back looking at Adam like, oh my goodness. Because this is the same guy who told me just 2 years ago when he walked into Free for the first time, he said, listen, Pastor, you got to understand, I don't fucking do church. And yet, here he is. Yeah. No, it's not your turn yet. Not yet. I got more to say, Adam. Adam's going to come up in just a moment and share some of his story. You see, God is everywhere. And when I lose sight of that, when I start asking, God, where are you? Where's this abundant life you promised? Right here. Right here. My brothers and sisters, keep being the hands and feet of God because we need it now more than ever. And you want to walk the spiritual path, you want to be like the Good Shepherd, look for the lost, the broken, the beaten, and involve yourself in the work of carrying them home. And I'll close with this. For the 110,000 who died last year of an overdose, for the ones who die every 5 minutes in this country of a fentanyl overdose, I hope you remember every single one of them was a child of God, loved deeply by God, created in God's image. And for every loved one suffering in the wake of their death, and I know we have many here tonight, I want to remind you, your love for them was good. It was enough. And if your heart is still breaking into a million little pieces, know that God has not abandoned you in your suffering, because God never abandons the suffering. God moves towards the suffering. God moves towards you. And let me speak candidly with you all for just a moment. Because if you're here tonight or you're watching online and you're battling addiction, perhaps even fentanyl addiction, you need to know there's a solution. There is a way out of the chaos, a way out of the despair, but you have to be ready to accept the free gift. You have to at least be willing to be picked up and carried home. And no, you do not have to do this journey alone. You're worth more than that. You were created for more than that. You don't have to walk alone. In fact, you were created, you were intended to live life to the fullest, to have abundant kind of life. You are worthy of coming home. You are worthy of coming to the place where you've belonged the whole time. So now, I want to invite my friend and brother Adam up to share some of his experiences with fentanyl and loss and why he's here. Adam, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Okay, a lot of you people don't really know who the fuck I am, but my name's Adam Castle, and so reality is like 2 years, a day, and a week ago, I lost my daughter, her name's Chandra Day, to fentanyl. And for any of you that have lost your child, my heart goes out to you. Or any of your family members for that matter. And fuck fentanyl, okay? So I did. I came through these doors and I told Ryan, I don't fucking do church. But here I am standing right up on the fucking stage.
Preaching.
I can't fuck. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing or what's coming out of my mouth. People have asked me, what are you going to say up there? I don't fucking know. But I will tell, and I'd like it if everybody could say this out loud with me just one time. Fuck fentanyl. So, fuck. That's how passionate the people in this room are. And if you're going to change your life, set yourself free. Show up here. Ryan, he showed me how you can put recovery and spirituality into the same room, and it happens right here at Free. Now, for any of you guys that are still suffering, hopefully you'll find your way. Nobody can really make you do it until you've made a choice in your fucking life. You're going to stay fucking high. Don't do it. You'll die. That's pretty much what I got to say. Oh, yeah, my brother Coach is going to be doing a thing for YPR next couple of weeks. So, yeah, and I'm with the Sober Souls, and we also have Breaking the Chains. So,
Yeah.
break the fucking chains of addiction. Fuck fentanyl.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Give me some sugar.
And you might notice Adam is here almost every week and sometimes throughout the week, and he's always serving people. His life has changed since recovery, and I'm glad you're part of this community, Adam. And I want you all to hear from Kai. Kai, I'm going to, Bobby, do I give her this mic? Is this mic all right? Okay. Kai celebrates with us every single week. She was here her first Saturday night, 18 days clean, and I love when she comes because she hasn't missed a Saturday since, and every single Saturday she celebrates with us to let us know how many days clean she is. 162 days clean of fentanyl. It's all yours, Kai.
Thank you. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Kai. I started drinking when I was 12 years old. That quickly turned into experimenting with hard drugs. I used for 14 years and was semi-functional. The last 6 years, I used fentanyl multiple times daily. Fentanyl brought me to my knees. Fentanyl stripped me of everything: my self-esteem, my morals, my standards. It got so severe that I lived in a trap house for those 6 years, and the house was exactly that, a trap. It was filled with addicts, trash piled to the ceilings, mice, cockroaches, and bed bugs. It had no running water, no electricity, no heat, no care for human life. And I was okay with that. I did anything I could to support my habit. I lied, cheated, manipulated, and stole. I wore filthy clothes. I weighed 85 pounds. I saw the bodies of 2 addicts I loved be hauled off by a coroner after paramedics were unable to revive them. Even their deaths did not stop me from using. It made me use more. There were days when it felt like using drugs was against my own will, but the addiction was so strong, I used anyway. It was my own personal hell. One day, I was totally dope sick walking near the trap house when 2 police cars pulled up on either side of me, blocking me in. They had been watching for me to step outside the trap house. I started crying because I knew I would be even more dope sick soon. Withdrawing in jail is horrific. There were days when I was sure I was dying. At first, I fell right into my usual pattern of finding the fastest way to get out of jail and back to my drugs. But after 3 weeks of hell, I started to feel better physically, and I realized that here was an opportunity to actually change my life, finally. My public defender came to see me. She told me I likely faced one of 2 possible options: 6 months in Denver County Jail or treatment at Tribe Recovery Homes. I answered yes to treatment immediately. On the day of court, the DA argued that I had not been successful at treatment in the past. I had written a heartfelt letter to the judge, and thankfully a tribe representative was there in court saying they had a bed open for me now. The judge ruled in favor of treatment and released me to tribe that day. I did well at tribe for 6 months, but had not completely cut ties with old friends who were still using. I had a 2-hour relapse. I used alcohol, meth, and fentanyl. While I sat there high in the same trap house, I could not believe that I let myself get sucked back into hell again. I drove high back to tribe just before curfew and confessed what I'd just done and asked for help. I went to Pathfinders for 30 days inpatient treatment, which was amazing. While at Pathfinders, I was taken to free for the first time at 18 days clean. Free was unlike any place I'd ever been in my entire life. I saw a pastor with tattoos, and I heard Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. I immediately felt welcomed and at home. I felt spiritual freedom. Finding Free was life-changing. I've attended every Saturday since. I am now 162 days clean, a sheet metal apprentice with my own studio apartment, and I am truly grateful to have found my community.
So good, Connie.
Thank you.
Man, the stories we get to be a part of, the miracles we get to be a part of in this community. Absolutely amazing. All right, y'all, if you're new with us tonight, you should know that every single Saturday night we have a guest storyteller, someone to share some of their experience, strength, and hope with us on the topic at hand. And I mentioned Hannah's funeral, and Connie, her mom, is with us here tonight and is bravely sharing some of her story with us. So please help me welcome Connie to the stage. Connie, before you start, I'm going to move this table so I can see everybody, so they can see you. Oh, Connie, thank you for being with us tonight.
Yeah,
it's
thank
really
you.
good to have you here. I said it at the first service. I'm so glad you and Tom and a lot of your family are part of this community, and we're just really grateful to have you part of this community. Thank you for your bravery and sharing tonight. And I want to begin with, you said yes when I asked you if you would share some of this story around Hannah, and you said yes. And I want them to hear, why'd you say yes?
Thank you for asking me, first of all. I mean, Hannah's life is important and valuable, and I want people to know her story. So while I feel her life ended at age 25, I feel that was too young. It was God's plan for her and her life, not my plan. And I just feel that it was his plan to teach our family and other people in our family about addiction.
Yeah. And you said you didn't want people to be alone. And can you talk about the shame that can be in that?
I don't want people to feel alone like I did. I felt ashamed admitting to others that my daughter was an addict and on drugs. I felt scared of their judgment. I didn't want to tell people that she was homeless just for that judgment and my feeling of shame. I just don't want others to feel like they're alone going through it, because obviously we're not. So.
Yeah, we have a room of people that understand that.
Mhm.
And so, Connie, will you tell us a little bit about Hannah's life? We have a few pictures of her that will be on the screen as you share, and can you share how she was full of life and then how things shifted? So maybe tell us about the last couple of years of Hannah's life.
Okay. So Hannah, last couple of years, just about her life, she grew up in a nice home, nice family in Highlands Ranch. She participated in soccer swimming, gymnastics, dance. She had great friends, people who loved and cared for her very much. She had a good family that loved her. I felt she had a fun, happy life. She was rebellious and very strong willed. She was full of life, beautiful, funny. At age 15, she got a job at Taco Bell, and then she switched to just right across the parking lot to Starbucks. And while she was working there was a sheriff that would come in on a regular basis, and he talked her into a career in criminal justice. And so she ended up going to college for 2 years at UNC and Metro for criminal justice. After 2 years of that, she decided that she wanted to be more artistic. And so she went to school. She changed and she went to school for cosmetology, to cut hair and be the makeup artist that she's so natural at. So.
Can I tell you a story, Connie? I meant to tell you and Tom this. I was in where she used to cut hair. I stopped in there to get, Paul Mitchell makes a great leave-in hair conditioner that I needed a few weeks back because I bleached it and it was real dry. And I walked into this place, and the young lady at the front desk, she said, "We still have her certificate." And I said, I'm sorry, do we know each other? She said, yeah. Weren't you the guy that did Hannah's funeral? And I said, yeah. I hadn't been in there in years.
Yeah.
And she said, we still have her certificate, and we think about her. We leave it on the wall so that we can remember her.
Oh, so sweet.
I meant to tell you guys that. That was a few weeks ago.
So sweet.
Sorry to interrupt your story.
That's okay.
Can you keep going?
That's okay. You're part of our story. So let's see here. Where was I? Hannah was really proud of the accomplishment of getting her cosmetology license. After she graduated from that school, the cosmetology, is when we really started to see the changes in her. She was drinking a lot, smoking marijuana, using cocaine, using heroin. She would show up, if she showed up, to holidays and family functions late or high, and then would disappear during these events for multiple times for 20 to 30 minutes and come back in and just sit there and nod off, and not be present. So obviously she had gone out to do something. She got fired from her first cosmetology job at Floyd's. She was in 4 car accidents in 6 weeks. So her dad and I decided to take her car away. And as we were advised to let her find her bottom, which was super hard to do. She was homeless at that point and living in and out of storage sheds and on the streets. We did attempt an intervention, and she wanted no part of that. So.
And there was a while there where you thought she was maybe getting better. A few months before she passed, because I think it's an important message. Not only did there's this myth that goes around that says, fentanyl addicts, they're the ones over there out there. Well, she actually came from a loving home, Highlands Ranch of all places, and she didn't want to die. She did not. She was not someone giving up. She wanted to live.
Yes, and she had told us that so we started coming here. She came back to her dad's a little over a year and wanted to get into recovery. So she was in and out of recovery. Well, it was we all went through it. Mm-hmm. She was in and out of the recovery, but she didn't want to do the hard work and getting into a sober living and living a sober life and going through a program. She just didn't want to do that. She wanted to party on the weekends and cut hair during the week. And it just doesn't work that way. So
Yeah, and she actually had a friend die of a fentanyl overdose. And then
Yes.
she told mom here not to worry about her. Why did she say that?
yeah, so we found out that her drug of choice was fentanyl, and I didn't even really know what it was. So I looked it up and scared me. But she said that we didn't have to worry about her dying because she just smoked it. So
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff will seek to take your life any way it can.
yeah, for sure. So, anyways, let me see here. Let me grab my notes. So she passed away on July 24th last year. And I got a call from, Tom and I had gone to church. It was Sunday, and I got a call from her dad, and she had passed away in her bed. So we got together and rushed over there, and the sheriff, they were processing the crime scene in her bedroom because it was a crime scene since there were drugs involved. And so we didn't get to see her for a good 2 to 3 hours. And they finally brought her down into his living room, and we got to see her. For me, it was unbelievable to see her lifeless because she was just such a fun, vibrant girl. I kept asking her to wake up. It just seemed like she should. But as I stood there and looked at her for a long time, she looked at peace. I felt comfort in knowing that she no longer had to battle the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
So,
And what would you say to any parents out there who have a child who is battling addiction, maybe even fentanyl addiction? And what would you say to the parents who have lost a child to addiction?
I mean, to the parents, I would just say take care of yourself, get involved in a program. Tom and I did Nar-Anon on Monday nights. Jen was a part of that, Carrie, multiple people that were here tonight. I mean, I don't think we could have done it without this group of people. And there were times when, I'd work all day and then come home and get on the meeting, and it wasn't always something that I got out of it, but it could have been something that I said or that Tom said that was for somebody else to get out of. So, or to get out of the message that day. Is this on?
It is still on. Maybe you know what? I'm going to change mics with you. We're going to switch over to the blue mic, and I'm going to turn off the white mic.
Okay.
See if that works better.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so the program was great. Let's see here. What I would say to family members, parents, is to know the difference between supporting your loved one and enabling them. Think about the serenity prayer and live by it. And that is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Remember that you didn't cause this, you can't control it, and we can't cure it. Free has been great for us. I don't know what we would do without this community, all the love and support we get from everybody here, and we want to give back to you and the community. I wanted to say to love the person, hate the disease. And then I wanted to say, Brian, thank you for letting me share Hannah's story today.
Yeah.
You've touched so many lives, and officiating Hannah's service, obviously at Sport Clips, and they still know who you are. And also wanted to say that we've had a tough time the last few years. While Hannah was homeless, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and lost my mom and lost our grandpa, Papa Ned. And it was hard to sleep at night with Hannah being out there and not knowing, but something good is coming out of this, and that is our daughter is expecting our first grandchild, and that gives us joy. So,
Beautiful.
thank you.
You know, can I repeat some words that Hannah said? Hannah was at a 12-step meeting with you, and I believe maybe it was just you. And she heard the words and she repeated them. She said, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. And then she said, I feel like I'm getting my life back.
Yes, yes. That
And
was in a 5 o'clock open meeting.
5 o'clock
here.
meeting here.
Mhm.
And I would use that to remind you all. I mean, it's why recovery is one of our values here. My recovery is worth it. One day at a time, I will focus on putting my recovery first so that everything I love doesn't come last, and you can get your life back. But recovery, staying connected in your recovery is so, so important. And Connie, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah,
to
thank
share
you.
the
My
story of
pleasure.
Hannah and how you're getting through it. And we are really glad to have you a part of this community. And Hannah will forever be a beloved member of this community. We'll always remember her.
Thank you.
Connie Weinrich, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. All right, y'all. So I'm going to tell you the original plan we had. Then I'm going to tell you our new plan. Matt was going to be here to Matt Griswold. You might remember him. He sang up here a few weeks back, and he writes his own music, a very powerful singer-songwriter. And Matt's not here tonight. And we're going to lift up Matt in prayer. But about 5 minutes before the last service began, I saw Mickey sitting here in the front row, and I remember Mickey could sing too. And I said, Mickey, because you might remember he sang at our Christmas Eve service. I said, Mickey, I know you don't have like a song you've written that you could sing tonight, but I'm trying to think of a song that everyone kind of knows. And hey, Mickey, do you know the words to Amazing Grace? He said, you want me to sing tonight? I said, yeah, kind of, because we don't have Matt here. And so if you could just step in and sing Amazing Grace, that'd be beautiful. He pulls up his phone, looks at some lyrics. He said, yeah, I can do that. So Mickey's going to sing. You don't need this mic, do you? Mickey's going to sing Amazing Grace. And the thing is, we've got some candles. Me and Kai and Adam will be up here with some of the larger white candles. Kai, can you grab those 3 white candles? And if you want to honor, remember someone you have lost to addiction or to this very deadly epidemic of fentanyl, if you have been affected by fentanyl and you want to light a candle, I invite you to take one of the candles that are being passed around. If you don't want to, this isn't like being forced upon you. You do not have to take a candle, but maybe you have been affected by fentanyl. Maybe you have been directly affected. Maybe you are here tonight and you're the one in battle, and you want to lift up a prayer for yourself. I just want to let you know that these candles, it's our simple way of reminding us that there is light in the darkness. There is a way to keep hope going, but we don't do it alone. We do it together in community. So as Mickey sings Amazing Grace, if you want to have a lit candle, I invite you to find a way to light your candles. They're going around. Get it off the neighbor next to you. Come up forward and light off Adam's candle or Kai's candle or my candle, and we'll light up the darkness together. Let's do this.
Amazing grace, How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. This grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
In the darkness, may we be the hands and feet of God. May we do the work of helping carry people home. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mickey, for stepping in and doing such a beautiful job with Amazing Grace. Give my hand, ladies and gentlemen. But y'all, it's not over. There's more. And as we were thinking through tonight's service, I thought, we don't have to do heartaches tonight. Then it's like, no, nonsense. It's a very important part of our time together as community. Just like we do celebrations, we do heartaches, because what I know is, and you know this too, we try to carry burdens throughout the week that you have no business carrying alone. And in fact, you suck at carrying them alone. It's why we have community. It's why you need community. So we take 3 minutes for this. And if you're online, I encourage you to join us. Drop in your heartache in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, and we'll heartache with you there. Kai will pass around a mic. And Kai, I don't know if that one's on. You'll probably have to turn it on. Here's the other mic. Scott will pass around a mic. Thank you, Scott. If you have a burden that you want prayer for, lifting up, encouragement for, we take 3 minutes for this. Just lift up your hand, and Scott and Kai will get you a mic. This time is yours. That one's not working?
It is. I'm not smart enough to work on mic.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I've
I'd like to ask for prayers for my ex-husband. Despite all our problems, he's really struggling and could use some lifting up. Thanks.
All right. Becca, prayers for your ex-husband, lifting him up. We had one in the front here, Kai. Tech team, can we get the music turned down just a tad? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. I thought my wife was raising her hand.
My name is Kayla. I'm lifting up my house manager, Holly. Her aunt passed away due to Parkinson's and dementia. So prayers for her.
All right, lifting up Holly. Let her know we said hello, too. Prayers for her.
My name's Felicia, and it was my sister's 2-year death anniversary from an overdose on the 23rd, so I've been super angry this week. So.
Yeah, understandably so. Prayers for you, lifting you up.
My name is Mark. I lost my niece, Nikki Houston, today to fentanyl.
Prayers for you, Mark. So sorry to hear this.
My name is Jay. Need some prayers for my brother and myself. Still going through it. Got a lot of resentments. My resentments got resentments. That's it.
Yeah, we get it. Prayers for you, man. Lifting you up.
I'd like to lift up Connie Day for the loss of her daughter, Chandra Day, who was also my daughter, but we were never together.
Thank you, Adam. Prayers for her and you.
Hi, I'm Noah. I would like my dad to have a safe recovery and not relapse.
All right. Where is? I didn't see. Where is Noel? I still don't see. Oh, in the back. All right. Prayers for your dad. That's a big one. Safe recovery. I like that. I like putting it that way.
I'm Dara. I would just like to honor the memory of my friend Carter Swift, who passed last June from fentanyl.
Remembering Carter. Prayers for you, Dara. Glad you're here.
Hi, I'm Abby, and I would like to pray for Melissa, who lost her son Terry to a fentanyl overdose. He was my son's childhood best friend. And also Calvin. I'm still praying for him all the time, so please keep Calvin in your prayers.
Yeah. You and me both. Yep. Lifting him up. Shannon.
I'm Shannon, and as Ryan mentioned, I want to just lift up Matt again. I've become a quick, very warm and welcomed part of this community, and we're just hoping that he comes back to us. He's fighting right now.
That's right. He's one of us, and we don't do shame.
We don't do shame at all.
Yeah.
So come back to us.
So
please.
come on back, brother. You're welcome here. Thank you, Shannon. Prayers for him. All right. That was it, right? We ran out of time. Scott, are you joining me up here? I didn't even ask you before. Oh, you can't see, but Mickey will join me back up here. We need Mickey up here because me and Mickey are kind of twinsies tonight. We decided to text each other and say, "What are you wearing?" And he said, "The free striped shirt." I said, "I'm gonna wear it too." So
we look good.
We do look good.
Is this the side?
That's the side you got to be on. Yes. Thank you for singing tonight, man. You did something I could never do. Thank you for that. All right, you take the first one. Yeah, let's clap for him again.
First one's from Christina. Already shared mine, but I would like prayers for my living son who is struggling with fentanyl addiction.
Yeah, Christina, I know you joined us last week, and we're lifting you up in prayer. Stephen says, "Please pray for my family of Rob Harold. He lost his battle with cancer. Family doing the best they can. Thanking you always." Stephen, lifting up Rob. Glad you're part of this community all the way from Pennsylvania. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Lifting you up. Prayers for you too. Thank you, Nikki, for being up here with me again. It's good to have you up here, brother. Man, do y'all hear the, just in our heartaches, the fentanyl epidemic? I mean, I hope you see how real this is and why we're breaking wide open this conversation. And always, just like with celebrations and heartache, they often walk together. We often celebrate and cry. They often walk together. And so I do want to leave you with some good news. I shared this on social, and I shared it with you last week, actually. But for the past couple of months, we've been doing this Home at Last campaign where we are trying to raise $1.3 million to purchase this building so that we can have a permanent home. And so 1.3 is our goal. We can purchase it for 1.15 million, but we wanted to set aside a small fund for like a building fund, whatever goes wrong in this building, like when parking lots go wrong, when rooftops go wrong. This is an old building, so things go wrong. So our goal is 1.3 million, but we can purchase the building itself at 1.15 million. Last week, we received a tremendous grant. I told you about it last week, but I didn't tell you from who because we didn't have permission, but we have permission now. And so we are really, really grateful to have received $200,000 from the Daniels Fund. Huge news. This campaign will go till the end of October, and we will purchase in November. We are in communication with other significant grantors, and I promise I will keep you all in the loop. But if you've been sitting around and you're thinking, well, I'm going to wait to the end to give, well, now's a good time to help us close the gap. We're at $850,000 so far. We've got a little more to go. So I want to say thank you to all of you who have given to this campaign. If you want to give to it, there's online. You got to click when you go to the giving, you got to click the Home at Last button. Man, and I'll just tell you this real quick. It was so moving. Right before the 5 o'clock service, a couple came up to us. I'm looking at them, so they said I could say their names, Christine and Gerald, and they had tears in their eyes. And they said, we have been wanting to give, and I know their situation. And they said, man, but you talk about sacrificial giving. And they handed us a $500 check, which was a huge, huge deal for them. And I'm just so grateful for that, y'all. Yeah. So that we can have a permanent home because you guys call this home. And if you call this place home, if you've been impacted by the mission of breaking the silence of addiction, we have 2 giving boxes. One's here by Carrie. Carrie, put your hand in the air. There's one just outside these doors here. And like I said, there's also ways to give online because I know most of us do not carry cash. It's 2023. So you can download the app, Free Spiritual Community. It's free to download. All our content's on there. There's a giving button there. You can give once or monthly or weekly, however you want to do it. And remember, if you want to give to the Home at Last campaign, click the button on the giving button. Or you can go to the website, freespiritualcommunity.com, or text that number on your screen. There's lots of ways to give. And I know many of y'all have made this a spiritual practice in your life. And like I said, a sacrificial practice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful. And this place will be our home. And for that, we're really grateful. So thank you. You know, Hannah was here one of the nights we closed with the Lord's Prayer. We closed with different prayers. And Connie and Tom tell me that she opened her hands and just received this beautiful blessing gift of the Lord's Prayer, the God who's always with us. So I invite you to open your hands. It's just a sign of openness that you're open to God moving in our midst, the God who's here and everywhere, Spirit breathing life in you and through you and all around you. And if you don't know the Lord's Prayer, it's on your screen, and it starts like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And y'all, I do have one more thing to say real quick. We have yard signs out at the table. Noel will be at this table in the cafe. We have yard signs that have our F-Fentanyl logo on it and then a little white space. If you want to write down the name of someone who you are lifting up or praying for, or to remember someone you have lost in your life because of this epidemic, we want to scatter the free yard with these yard signs. You can put them in the ground. Noel will give you instruction, and we will leave those up this week as a reminder of the deadliness and the hope we can find in the midst of an epidemic. Grace and peace to all of you. See you next time. Thank you, Paul. Woo-woo!